Hello and welcome to our second episode of Culture Beyond COVID. Today I'm very pleased to announce our first guest, Jasmin Vogel. Jasmin Vogel is currently the CEO of the Kulturforum in Witten, located in the post-industrial area Ruhrgebiet in the western part of Germany. She's especially interested and passionate about facilitating culture-led innovation and creating social impact. So let's listen to her experiences in the middle of the storm caused by COVID-19 and learn about her understanding and tools about rewriting the script of the future cultural landscapes. So the floor is yours. Here we go, Jasmin Vogel.
Since last year, October, I'm the CEO of the Kulturforum Witten. The Kulturforum Witten is basically responsible or is the general service, the cultural service of general interest in Witten, which means we have 6 cultural institutions under one roof, or maybe you can call it also as a network, which is basically the City Library, the Museum for Contemporary Art with a collection, the archive, as well as 2 event venues, Saalbau Witten and Haus Witten, and as well as the Kulturbüro, which is responsible for the free cultural scene here in Witten, and a music school. So you see, we have the wide range of general cultural activities which are under one roof. Me as a person, I have led several innovation processes within the last 10 years, and I'm pretty much interested in cultural innovation as well as social impact. Today is the 2nd of November in Germany, so again, part of our institutes or organizations are closed. And so how did it affect us? Of course, in a huge way. The good thing, or let's say, what we are taking out of this time, and we are still in the middle of the storm, so I don't even think we have reached the top of the crisis yet, so we are still on the looking up and saying, oh my God, still a long way to go. Actually, at the beginning of this year, we started a process on the question, how does a cultural infrastructure in the future has to look like, especially with the question of mindset, question of leadership, and what is basically our role in society for the future. And the pandemic, when it came, kind of emphasized how important a systematic change within the cultural infrastructure is. So how did we react? Basically, when we were closed, we were thinking of, okay, what could be, how can we be open without being open? And so what we did is we opened our doors for the free cultural scene and free artists, and laid back and said, okay, this is your room, this is your stage. What do you think is relevant now in a time where everything is closed? And what should be the role of art and culture in the future? And just let the whole space to the free cultural scene. This was, I wouldn't say successful, but it kind of showed us, and was a very interesting learning process, on how we can renegotiate our relationships basically with our local communities. So let's say before the crisis, and also before I started, we were thinking in silos. This is a library, this is a museum, this is an archive, and this is what we do. But actually, I think we need to change that. We need to think more in what is our role here for local communities? How can we open up and be radical accessible? So about accessibilities in forms of people, ideas, and rooms, not just, in theory, but really open up. And also think about what are the questions for the future? So how can we anticipate local communities' needs, and how do we have to change them? Because just in Germany, we have a very conservative cultural sector. So our structures, if we are publicly funded, are usually very resistant to change. And I think the actual crisis really shows us that we need, and this is what I call rewriting the script. So, so this pandemic needs to be the time where we self-reflect on our system and therefore think about our content. We need a change within the system. So I think this is the first thing. And the second is we need new models of leadership. So these are always these buzzwords: system change, new models of leadership. But I think if we think in a visionary level, what is culture really good at? And I do truly believe that culture does close the gap between policy, research, and everyday social practice. So actually cultural institutions, and if we talk about I would say the cultural services in general, so which every city has, these are the places where our future can be renegotiated. This is where we can develop utopia. This is where we can go into conflicts, because there will be conflicts and we need to have these conflicts. And this is why I think that in accepting that we need to, that we are basically can close this gap, and that this is our, I would say, transfer we have to do. This also need to be understood, that then therefore we have to change in a whole. This means different hierarchies. This also means a different form of culture production. So if we talk about co-creation, co-production with communities, it's a different form of artistic approach. And this means, especially for, I would say, the very artistic-driven institutions as theaters and museums, that they need to change their everyday practice and how they work, a change in their mindset, as well as in, and now I'm a little bit polemic, and I hope everybody is okay with that kind of. We need to be aware that we are not there just that we can have this job. We are here because we are a cultural service of general interest. That means we need to understand general interest. And so we need formats of self-reflection and kind of also maybe sometimes pausing, really think, okay, what does our local community really need? How can we address this without, we are not the social sector, so still we always have the tools of artistic practice, and how can we therefore be this transformative power that I think will be needed, because it's not just the system of the cultural sector that is in question. I think our whole system needs to be questioned. And therefore, if we want to be the leader of such a movement, I think first we need to look at ourselves and not being there and saying we need money, we need money. I think first we should look, what can we do, and then what do we need as resources? And this needs basically a new definition of what we do. I don't think we have to be afraid, even though a lot of things are now in question. But if we take this opportunity, I think culture will be, even after the crisis, culture will be even more relevant than before. And we shouldn't ask the question of system relevance, but more ask the question of, how can I say this? We have to make the rules as we go along. This means we are good at improvisation. This is where we come from. Artistic practice is improvisation itself. So let's use the tools we are already always are at our plate. Let's use them to change our own system for the good.
Thank you, Jasmin Vogel, for being our guest today and for these inspiring and powerful words, and for looking ahead to fundamental changes in the cultural and creative sector, yet from a very enthusiastic perspective. Another positive thing to mention is that the EU's funding program for research and innovation will have a dedicated cluster for culture, creativity, and inclusive societies in the following 7 years. More details on how to approach and access this complex funding program will follow next week, where we will entirely focus on Horizon Europe. So thank you for tuning in today, and see you next week.